All right, look at us go. We got the cylinder back on, piston rings compressed, installed. We're in good shape, that's for sure. Time to move on. Move on to what? Well, I think I'm gonna check out the cylinder head, get the exhaust gasket out of there, get some O-rings out of there, and just kind of replace the old with the new. And before you know it, we'll be torquing this head back on. We're getting close, and that's all that matters. Okay, well, we're gonna give this head a once over. We're gonna clean up around where the head bolts are gonna, torque on. So make sure these areas here are gonna be nice and clean. We don't wanna jeopardize our torquing accuracy because we all know what could happen. You could ruin your head gasket. So I'm hoping I don't repeat the past, but you never know. This is gonna be my proof on camera. It's gonna be my documents, my documentation, my documentary. All the proof is gonna be in the video, so let me know what I did wrong, if I did something wrong. I guess we're gonna find out on that first startup if everything is all good. Or after the first 100 miles, maybe that's a good test. Like I said, only time will tell. So let's go on ahead and get to business here. Let's get a pick or something to get this old exhaust gasket out. I might just bend my little Harbor Freight pick here. We'll blow and brake clean everything out just in case. We're gonna get some debris in this head, I'm assuming. This thing is just gonna flake apart. Like I said, it's not very old, but I mean, it's been heat cycled plenty of times. It appears to be coming out pretty easy. Just gotta be careful because these little like wires can go into your skin. Could be kind of sharp. All right, that came out without hassle. Just kind of clean the surface up a little bit, do a little scraping. It's actually still pretty clean inside. You can see an area where, I didn't quite get everything off. Like I said, I did this like a couple years back, so I'm not really worried or concerned about any internals, any valve seats and whatever else, because I replaced every single thing on the head last time. The only thing that failed, well, is the most important thing, and that's the head gasket. So, like I said, we're not gonna try to repeat history here. We're not gonna try to repeat the past. I'm hopefully gonna learn from my mistakes and move on and trying to get better at things, and in order to get better at things, you gotta make mistakes, and mistakes only make you better in the long run. So let's not make any mistakes this time around because I'm better than that, right? Right? I think so. Let's take a peek on the intake side. A little residue right here. Oh, what do you know? Oil. All that oil in the intake. Could be from my crankcase ventilation system, I'd say. But I'm really determined to do that mod to eliminate any oil inside the induction system. In the long run, I'll have less carbon buildup on top of my piston because there'd be less oil getting on top of the piston in the area where oil shouldn't be. So it should be a win-win situation. So maybe that video will be to come if I get this thing back together correctly and it starts up, and I'll be on my merry way. Do a little brake clean action here, get this surface cleaned up. See how well it'll clean up. Looks like just a little bit of surface gunk. Look at that, looking better already. Let the brake clean kind of swish around, spishy splash. Break up whatever's in there. Splash it around on the inside of the valve. A little bit of brown color to it. I really miss my blue little shop towels. The blue ones are just so much cooler than the white. Pretty squeaky clean in there. All right, got the gasket surface for the exhaust cleaned up pretty good here. I did notice that I have quite a hole going on right here. There's quite the gouge going on here. I'm not sure what that's from, but we're just gonna let it ride. Risk it for the biscuit, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, this area seems pretty well cleaned up. Push rod tube area is all cleaned up, looking good. you know, yeah, don't judge me. Don't judge me, it's not perfect. Okay, now they're looking a little more, you know, presentable. I just had to give it a quick blow and we're looking a lot better now. Intake area cleaned up, and the most important part, our head gasket surface. I'm gonna go over it one more time with some brake clean before I place it onto the cylinder. And yeah, cross our fingers that this whole girl will will be alive and kicking and live to ride another day. Okay, let's grab some more new items from our gasket set. We're gonna grab 2 of these O-rings for our head. We're also gonna grab 2 of each of these style O-rings for our push rod tubes. So we got 2 browns and 2 blacks. That's complete for 1 cylinder. Uh-oh. Don't tell me. Oh, there it is. Thought I got gypped on an O-ring, but so now we have a complete set to redo the other cylinder if needed one day. This is for the bottom area for your push rod tubes. I'm not even gonna touch these. There's no sign of mine going bad, so I'm gonna leave it as is. Just gonna need these 4 here, and also 2 of these, which are for our cylinder head dowels. All right, it's day 25. I think we're actually gonna get something done tonight. Enough, you know, pussyfooting around. We gotta get some shit done. Day 25, we got to get some progress done tonight, or I'm never going to finish. So let's get started. Quick recap, everything's cleaned up. All the gasket surfaces are clean. Our O-ring little housing areas are clean. Exhaust gasket area is clean. Once again, head gasket area is clean, most important. Over here, up top the piston, on top of the cylinder, right where head gasket mounts up, we're gonna get that clean with some brake clean. Make sure that's all good to go, no debris, no residue. And we're gonna swing over to our push rod tube hole down here. We're gonna swap these 2 O-rings out as well before we put our push rod tubes in. Gonna be real careful not to get any debris down there. So yeah, that's the game plan for tonight. Get the cylinder head on and torque down. Let's see if we can make it. Before we put the head on, we're gonna put an O-ring on this dowel and an O-ring on that dowel. Very important. We get a brown and a black O-ring. Brown one obviously is bigger. It's gonna go on the bottom, and the black one's going on the top, which is gonna go right into the head up here. I'm just gonna put these O-rings in on the head real quick. That way I don't forget them later. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do it first or not. You can always lube up the O-rings with some oil or O-ring grease. Kind of help the process a little bit, but they genuinely go in pretty smoothly. Again, I'm not sure if, you know, if it matters to do it now or later. I'm doing it now and I'm gonna find out later, I guess. Swinging over to the bottom O-rings now. These are probably fine to reuse, but since I already have everything open, I'm gonna throw in the new ones now. Better be safe than sorry. Let's attempt to dig these out. Just a little pick gently comes out. They're not really wedged in there too far. They come out very easily. Okay, old ones are out. Quick wipe. I'm gonna use the curved side of my hook, kind of wedge it into the crevice. Should be able to clean it out without gouging or making any damage anywhere. Looks good. Well, I'm gonna lube my O-rings up with a little bit of oil before I put them down in there, just to be sure the push rod tubes don't gouge into them and potentially create a leak down the road. And one more. Nice and straight, nice and flat all the way around. All right, we're gonna put the push rod tubes in now. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil at the bottom, just a little bit to help it out. Come to think of it, let's see if it's easier to put it on first. Let's put the O-ring on first and then just push it in there. That should seat it properly, yeah. So, learning from my mistakes out here. So just put on the O-ring before you put it in the hole. Capiche, capiche. Pop, okay. We are installed. It's coming together, it's coming together. All right, next crucial step, get the gasket surface cleaned up finally now for the final cleaning before insertion of the head. As you guys know, we've cleaned this thing many times. This is just the last once over before we get down to business and get this cylinder head back installed. See all the dirt coming off? Very important step. Don't skip this one. I cleaned up the cylinder studs, or the head bolts as well. You want to make sure all the debris is out of the threads. So when you go to torque your big freaking nut, or all 4 of the nuts, officially they're called the nut, big long nut. The ones that screw into here. And again, I'm going to do the head as well. Going to get one final cleaning on the head surface. And it's go time, baby. Brake clean for the win. This is where all that cleaning and hard work pays off. Or you hope it pays off. Of course it'll pay off. We are golden, baby. Let's dig out our cylinder head gasket now. Bingo bongo, here they are. So I guess this is like a PTFE style gasket. I'm not sure if it's better or worse as opposed to our MLS multi-layered steel gaskets that we're gonna use. I'm going for these ones. Wish me luck. I guess I only need one. Gonna get this thing installed correctly. Orientation, all the holes have something going through them. A little bit of wiggle here, but that's where our little O-rings come in handy. Those will kind of hold it more secure, allegedly. Okay, I lied. It doesn't really hold it very secure. I guess you can put them on before. O-rings can go on before. Okay, note taken. O-rings in, studs are aligned. We're gonna bring it home. I'm gonna set the cylinder head right on there, right where it belongs. Also, if you haven't already, go on ahead and get the insides of all your threads cleaned up. And we're actually gonna put a little bit of oil inside the threads and also some oil on the flat part of your flange on all the bolts. All the bolts get a little bit of oil. This will allow for a better, more accurate torque setting. Yeah, that's what the instructions say anyway. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of Sin 3 that's on hand here. I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil in each of those nuts. These are called nuts. Internet says they're called nuts. They're called nuts. Okay, we're calling them head nuts. Any hoosers. Yeah, so we're gonna add a little bit of oil into each one of these. Not too much, not too little. I might go for like a drop maybe, a couple drops. Just want a thin film inside. Not too much though. How much is too much? Well, if you were to fill up the whole thing till it was overflowing, I think that'd be too much. All you want are the inside threads to be well lubricated, as well as the bottom flange here, underside of your head nut. That's right, professional head nut. This is for proper torquing accuracy. Just reading along in the service manual. Apply clean engine oil to the cylinder stud threads and to the flat shoulder surface on the cylinder head bolts. Okay, well, I guess I did it wrong, didn't I? So it just says to apply oil to the cylinder studs. So all you're supposed to do for the bolts is oil up the underside, right on that flange. So technically I did it wrong. You're supposed to oil up the head studs. You're supposed to oil those up with that already on. But either way works, I guess. Well, we're gonna find out. Everyone has their way of doing things. So I'm doing it just a little bit different. Hopefully it doesn't bite me in the butt. There's really not much oil in there anyway. It's literally just a drop. Oh! No, I physically dropped it. I'm gonna call this good. This is about what I did the last time around, but head gasket didn't last very long last time, did it? Here goes nothing. We're stacking another layer up top. Double check your gaskets in there. Happy. Triple checked all the surfaces are triple, quadruple cleaned. And here we go. So we're gonna have to align our push rods as well over here. So we're gonna aim for those two holes on the bottom side of the head. Maybe I'll aim for those first. That'll help me kind of align it, hopefully. Kind of go in blind. You can't really see the other side. I'm gonna sneak over to the other side. Oh yeah, we're off alignment for show. Got one going that way. Well, might as well show you guys my trials and tribulations. Push rod tubes aren't quite aligned, so they're pretty forgiving. So I'm just gonna, move them off to the left a little bit. Hopefully our gasket lands right where we want it to be. It would probably be much easier to actually put the push rod tubes in the head, push them into the O-rings, and then feed in the bottom of those push rod tubes. A couple different ways to do things. Sometimes I do stuff the wrong way, and then I learn from my mistakes, and we get better at things. Double check our alignment. Okay, we're all the way flat on this side. So last thing to do is push the head, push the two push rod tubes into its spot, and that should make up the difference of the gap right there. Okay, head has leveled out, everything's flush, looking good. Here's one more quick look at the progress. But so far it's looking pretty factory to me. Okay, I think we're doing something right finally, for once. Okay, this is where our markings come in handy. We're gonna put back our 1, 2, 3, 4 head nuts, head bolt stud nut, nut stud, nut bolts, whatever they are. We're gonna put them in exactly in the order how we took them out. But our torquing sequence is gonna be completely opposite of what these numbers say. So stay tuned. So number 1, just gonna get them started finger tight. Again, we have a light film of oil on the underside of the flange. I'm gonna get all 4 of them started. 3 and 4. 12-point 1/2-inch socket coming back into play. We're just gonna finger tight these down And then we will proceed to the torquing sequence, the most important step of the job, besides cleaning everything. Here are the James Gasket instructions. I mean, we have 4 bolts. We need to get them tight. We have the 2 inner bolts and the 2 outer bolts. So we're flipping this upside down. This is our front cylinder. Basically, my bolt that's marked number 2 down here is bolt number 1 on here. And then it's opposite for my bolt number 1. It's his bolt number 2, and so on and so forth. So, you know, my bolt 3 is his 4, and my 4 is his 3. I mean, this quite possibly could have been the thing that I got wrong the last time. Maybe I was mistaken for my numbers versus his numbers and torquing it in the wrong orientation, the wrong sequence. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that theory. I think I like that. So let's do it correctly this time and not have a single problem in the future. Sounds good to me. Torque wrench, where are you? Oh, there you are. I bought this one specifically for this job the last time I did it. Don't fail me now. Amazon, good old Amazon. I'll link it down below. 10 to 80 foot-pounds, 3/8 drive torque wrench. Tecton is the brand. There we are. There she blows. Future reference, always store your torque wrench. Always store your torque wrench at the lowest possible setting that it'll go. That means it's stored at the least amount of tension on your torque wrench. In turn, will keep this thing accurate, baby. Accuracy is key on these things. And if you have this thing torqued all the way to 80 foot-pounds, it's gonna be under tension that whole time you're not using it. And I think it's not gonna end well for you. Just curious, let's find the torquing values for Harley and compare them to Mr. James. Tighten bolt number 1. Bolt number 1 on Harley is exactly the way that I labeled it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So bolt number 1 for James is gonna be my bolt number 2. So bolt number 1 for Harley is 96 to 120 inch-pounds. Okay, well, I don't work in inch-pounds. Let's go to James. Start at cylinder head bolt number 1 and tighten to 7 foot-pounds. See, I like the foot-pounds. There's a conversion, but, you know, I'd rather not. So Harley is inch-pounding, and I am foot-pounding. Harley's slightly different, but we're going by James Gaskets because that's what we're using. Who cares what everyone else says? We're going with James Gaskets and James torque settings. Last time I went in between the ranges of foot-pounds, like 12 to 15 and 22 to 25. I'm going to go max on all the foot-pounds this time. It says 12 to 15, I'm going to 15. It says 22 to 25, I'm doing 25. And lastly, 38 to 42, you damn right I'm doing 42 foot-pounds. So let's get to it. All right, Mr. Torque Wrench, I hope your accuracy is still on point. So we're gonna go to 7 foot-pounds. Oh no, that just dawned on me. This thing doesn't even go to 7 foot-pounds. What a doofus. 7 to 9 foot-pounds. This thing goes minimum 10 foot-pounds. Shoot, I'm gonna have to find another torque wrench, dude. Crap, this may just throw a wrench in my spokes. I'm gonna borrow one from work. I got the little torque wrench at work. Shoot, I'm gonna need that. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Gonna have to postpone this video until tomorrow. I really wanted to get this head torqued on, but it's just not in the cards. It's just not gonna happen. I guess I'm gonna go to bed early tonight and try again tomorrow. Not everything goes as planned, but just a little delay. No worries, I'll prevail. We'll see you tomorrow. Dang it, I wanted to get that thing torqued, baby. What the heck? God, the anticipation is killing me now. It's really killing me. Anyways, we'll see you guys soon. Bye. Is it recording? Yes, it's recording. Okay, we're back at it. It's the next night, just like that. Boom, with the magic of YouTube, we are back at it. We got the right torque wrench this time to start off the torquing sequence. And yeah, I don't change. I know I wear the same outfit every video. It's just the way I roll, baby. Can't use that on the first step. That's why I had to go and borrow the 4 to 19 foot-pounds torque wrench. Precision torque wrench. I'll link this baby down below if you guys want to get one. This is what we're gonna need to start off the torquing sequence. A little rundown on the torque setting. We got to loosen up the end first, counterclockwise. Then we turn our little handy dial at the bottom. We'll click it and we'll see it adjust. So we're at 4, we need to get to 7. So let's go around one full spin. 0.0 to 0.0. Where are we at now? There's 6. So now we're gonna go a half turn. So that would be 1. So 4, 5, 6, and then 7. If we continued all the way back to 0, 0, we would be at 8, which would be too much. We're gonna back it off to 1.0 is in between 1.2 and 0.8. So we are set, 7 foot-pounds. Tighten this baby down, and we are ready to torque. Alrighty then, how did you sleep here, old cylinder head? Nice and snug, get it like a bug in a rug, I bet. All right, here we go. This is for all the marbles. This is the most crucial step that you don't want to get wrong. So we're going right by the directions, exactly 7 foot-pounds. My torque wrench is set to. We're starting on the bolt number 1, according to the James gaskets. That is my bolt number 2, according to me. Just follow along with me. This is bolt number 1 that it says to torque to 7 foot-pounds. No more, no less. Oh, there it is. Money, baby, money. It's just kind of odd how it says bolt number 1 has to go to 7 foot-pounds. There's no in between, like over here, 7 to 9 foot-pounds. So they're very specific on 2, 3, and 4. You can torque it on the first go around 7 to 9 foot-pounds. So let's just go with 7 foot-pounds on 2, 3, and 4. Why not? Okay, we're going to my bolt number 1, but according to James, this is his number 2. Doesn't take much. And number 3 is going to be the number 4, which is right across from 1 on this side. So number 3, this one's a little tight, so I'm not going to have a choice. Extension's got to come off. Then we got it set to 7. All right, moving right along, moving right along. So we're going after 2, 3, and 4. We're going to just bump that baby up to 9 foot-pounds all the way around. Crank this baby loose, crank this baby tight. Yep, that's 9 foot-pounds. You're my witness. The internet's my witness. Same sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 9 foot-pounds complete. Okay, next. I got all of them torqued to 9 foot-pounds using the same sequence. Let's tighten each bolt to 12 to 15 foot-pounds. And I think we're going to 15 foot-pounds. We are going straight up to 15. I'm going max torque on all these, all the way to the end. All right, we swapped over to the other torque wrench now. We made it to the minimum torque setting of 10. So we're gonna actually go to 15 on this one. Same concept on this one. Loosen up the bottom area, counterclockwise turn, just a little counterclockwise, loosen it up down here. We're at 0, we're at the 10 line over. Now we're gonna do 1 full revolution. Bring 0 all the way around. Now we're at 15. Just to show you guys, 1 full revolution around again would be 20. So we're going back down to 15 right there. Tighten our bolt at the bottom. Our setting is locked in. Ready to torque it, baby. So I actually found this little tiny extension, which is nice, which gives me just enough clearance for this side. So it allows me to actually have the rotation that I need and also the clearance that I need. This torque wrench is a little thick on the head. You know what I'm saying? Can't really get the full, can't get on there square. You see that? The head's a little too fat. So with this puppy, this little puppy here, and that'll get me the clearance that I need. All right, let's get to torquing here. 15 foot-pounds. Number 1, number 2, numero 3. 15 foot-pounds all around in the correct sequence, complete. We're gonna crank her up to 25 foot-pounds, 22 to 25 foot-pounds. I'm opting to do the 25 foot-pounds option. All right, 25 foot-pounds set, locked in. 25 all the way around. All right, this is gonna be our last torquing sequence. We're bumping it up to 42 foot-pounds. 42 foot-pounds is the number. 30, 35, 40. Go 41, 42. Stop on the 2, we're at 42. Lock her in, ready to go. 42 foot-pounds, 42 foot-pounds. The internet's my witness. Following the instructions verbatim. Ooh, okay, it's feeling tight now. I'm just kidding. Boom, now we're feeling tight. 42. Now I'm gonna go back around and double check we're torqued all the way. Just wanna make sure it's repeating. That one went a little tighter. That's good. Whew, I broke a sweat, not gonna lie.